All right, the YouTube video is going. We're rolling. So, for everybody that's looking at the charts right now, here's what I think is going to happen. So, when we have news, we usually have a similar move, a relatively similar move each time. So, I think we're going to get one move and then another move in the opposite direction. So, this usually happens every time we have news. This should happen in about 48 seconds. So, we'll either get a move up and then a move down, or we'll get a move down and then a move up, just because of all that volume coming in from the unemployment news usually causes the market to react in two moves, one move, and another move in the opposite direction. So let's see how that goes. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, James. So yeah, let's see what happens right now. So we're very likely to get two moves. So if you are trading, that's what I'd be looking for. Just be careful. All right, let's watch. Getting a little more volume coming right now. See how we react, because we are near all-time highs. We recently just created all-time highs, literally right here. So let's see if this news does give us a lot of volume. So far, we have a decent amount of volume coming in. We don't have a ton of volume coming in. Usually, we have a little bit more volume coming in when we have news. Morning, morning. What time does my New York session start? 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not a ton of volume, guys. Not a ton of volume. A lot of times on these news events, some of them will have a ton of volume, a lot of price movement, and some of them just won't. And then tomorrow we have PMI. Not a ton of volume here, though. You can tell usually right away if it's going to be a high impact news event, if there's going to be a lot of volume, if there's going to be a lot of price action, because right on that 8:30 a.m. candle, we either get a big move and the candle's moving around a lot, or we don't move that much at all. And currently, we have not moved that much at all. So just much more low volume news, which is honestly okay because it should allow for cleaner price action throughout the rest of the day. Grab a water 1 second, y'all. So still not a ton of volume. What kind of news typically brings in the most volume? Good question. CPI, FOMC, non-farm payroll, I would say are the big ones and PPI. Sometimes unemployment does, but today was unemployment and we haven't had much volume, so it's usually how it works. But CPI, I've always seen volume on CPI. I've always seen volume on NFP, which is non-farm payroll, and I've also always seen volume on FOMC. Always. Good question though. It's good to know that. So you'll get a little bit of volume here. Little bit of volume. So as always, we are going to mark out the New York Open right here, which today is a pretty big range. So we can look for things like this. And we can look for things like that to the upside. So if you're new on here, if you haven't watched this stream before, I love trading with the New York Open. A lot of my setups come from either a bounce off the New York Open, a rejection off the New York Open, a break and retest off the New York Open, a continuation through the New York Open. So I love trading the New York Open. It's a very simple way for me to trade because I literally just look at the opening, pretty much looking at the opening range right now of the New York Open. And I'm seeing, okay, are we going to break out to the downside? Are we going to bounce up, come up here? And there's usually liquidity sitting around this open right here. So we're usually able to find a nice, accurate, precise trade based off of the New York Open. Not much data for longs. I completely agree, man. Completely agree. And that's the way we have to look at all-time highs, is really just by understanding, like, okay, there's really no levels to the upside here. Because price hasn't been there in the past. This is all the data we have for right here. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and give my game plan out right here, and then I'll write the game plan a little bit later, but first I'm just gonna say it verbally. So look at how we reacted to all-time highs, and that's something. So we broke through, and we immediately used it as a demand zone, right? So bam, 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 bam. I immediately used it as a demand zone. So right now, I'm really only looking at one thing just because we don't have much data at all to go off of. We have this high, and we have the New York Open, and that's all we have, right? Like we don't have any real session opens. We don't have any real past data to go off of because price has never been here. But what we can do is we could say that we could look for a potential break and retest to the downside of New York Open, which is riskier just because we are an all-time high. So that would look something like this, right? With, you know what I'm trying to do. I'll do it again though. But it would look something like that. Right, so break and retest to the downside. But then again, like we really do not have much data, y'all. We do not have much data. Morning, already out with $2,400 profit. Well, good morning to you, my friend. That's a nice way to start the morning, eh? Very, very good stuff. I love when I see those messages. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's what we do. I'm happy to have you here on YouTube, but if you were here live, you'd be making money with us. So yeah, this is our all-time high. Like we really don't have much data. I mean, one thing you could do, you could actually look at, and I'll probably be looking at, is a very tight play, is a break and retest to the upside with that as my target, and then just immediately get out. So I actually would be open to that. I would be open to that just because it's a really quick play. Make money, get out, go about your day kind of thing. That's the best way to trade. I'm just gonna be honest. And I think it was TJR Trades say this the other day. So he's the one that like jogged my memory. I'm not like taking it from him. I'm just giving him a shout out because he's where I saw it. He said that the best way to trade is to be able to trade for like 10 to 20 minutes and then just make money and go on with your day. And I could not agree more. The best way to trade, the best days to trade are days where you can literally just go in the market for like an hour, obviously probably like a little bit longer than that just because you're going to be watching the pre-market hopefully. So like you trade for an hour, you make your money, you find your setup, and then you go on with your damn day. That's so nice because what it does is it allows you to have such a clear mind because you're operating from this place of, okay, I'm already done with my trading. So like now what do I want to do with my day? You're operating from a place of freedom versus a place of like, I have to trade, I have to trade, I have to trade. Good morning, brother. The 1 hour trend line. So I'm assuming you're referring to this uptrend right here that was just broken, or you're referring, yeah, that's really the only trend that I'm seeing there. Or maybe there's a trend here. Is that what you're looking at? That could be a valid trend. For anybody that does not know, the reason all these different colored boxes are on my screen is because I am using an indicator that allows me to see the opens, highs, and lows of each session, and that indicator is called the Asian Session Range by FXN, and you can get it for free on TradingView right now. My man, my man. Yeah, so this is not going to be likely not going to be a stable level, so we're just going to take that out right now. Here's the thing about break and retest, guys. Sometimes they happen so fast, like this. On a low enough time frame, this is a break and retest setup. It happened very fast, but we broke through. So you're here, then we come up, retest it, and then we're already down 5 points from that. So that's a break and retest. Could we have another break and retest? Yes, definitely. But that just shows you that sometimes you got to just be ready. But that's hard to catch. I mean, if you miss that, there's no like, oh, you missed that trade. I mean, that's extremely hard to catch just because of how fast it happened. So now we could look for something like this as well. Somebody said projecting short and long position at the same time. What do you mean by that, my friend? Somebody just said short or long. You see, that's the question to ask, but the more important question is why are we shorting or longing? Right? So why are we getting in the trade? Because if you're just getting in the trade based off of should I short or should I long, it's not going to help your thought process too much, you know? But the only real reason I'd be looking at longs is if we broke above here, came down, retested this level, and then moved back up and tested this. Or if we did retest this, I'm looking for some shorts, and I'd be targeting this 561 level. That's my next target for the downside too. I think we're going to hit 561 today, which is a previous all-time high. Order filled. Does everyone in here trade SP Mini during these streams, or do the smaller accounts use SPY? A lot of people in here use funded accounts, so they're trading with funded accounts, funded prop firms. If you have an account with $100 and the trade goes negative $100, goes past negative $100, what happens? So if you're in a futures account or an account where you can lose more money than you deposited, you will lose more money than you deposited, which is not good, not fun. But if you're just in a Robinhood account, it would just you wouldn't lose more money than you deposited because you'd only be able to unless that's actually not always 100% true. Unless you're like borrowing on margin, right? So if you're borrowing on margin, Robinhood, if you're doing something that's a little riskier, you could lose more money than you deposited. But if you're just buying options contracts, you won't be allowed to buy any contracts that are worth more than the amount of money you have in your account if you're just trading on a cash account. So if I bought a, say, $500 option contract and I lose the whole option contract, that max loss would be $500. So I wouldn't lose any more than I deposited. But you could lose your whole account, so you got to be real careful. This stuff is very risky. Let me say this again. Day trading is very risky. Most day traders lose money, right? So you have to know the risks. You have to be aware of the risks. You have to read about the risks on SEC website, on all these websites of these big governmental bodies, and it might be boring, but you really do have to understand the risk. Really do have to understand the risk. For everyone that is in the academy, we're going to do an academy only live stream on Sunday. So on Sunday, we're going to do a academy only live stream. It'll be in the afternoon. We will go over the course a bit. I'll answer some questions and I'll give you guys some education, some things to think about, some things to work on, some things to do, some things you should probably avoid, and all that good stuff. www. So yeah, if you are a lifetime member and you want to see the academy, here's what you do. You go to WAP and then you go to My Products. So on WAP, when you go to My Products, it should say like Profit Insider Premium, and then it will also say Courses, and then you can view the course. So if you're a lifetime member and you want to view the academy course, that's how you do it. I mean, because that's still a break and retest, guys. This is what people have to understand. It's like these micro time frames. Setups can still play out, but sometimes they'll play out so damn fast. Like that's hard to catch. I'm not even gonna be like, oh, you should have got. That's hard to catch. Very, very hard to catch. And one tip that I was talking about a little bit the other day for finding some of these setups is, so say I had a limit order there. My limit order definitely would have gotten filled there, but just say like we didn't quite fill that limit order. We came like right below it. You can set your entry. You can set your limit orders a little bit below or a little bit above the zone sometimes if you want to make sure it gets filled, because a lot of times price will come like right above this zone right here because it knows that there's limit orders, and it'll actually fill the ones that are like literally a tick above it. So it'll fill the 5,000, 581, 75s right here. So you can place your limit order just a little bit above or a little bit below sometimes. But we could come back. So if we do continue in this downtrend right here, I would actually be interested in seeing a potential break and retest setup that would look something like that. Break, retest, come back down. Will this be recorded? Yes, it will, brother. Yes, yes, yes. Out for $750 today? Fuck yeah, brother. I'd love to hear that. Are you also live on Kick on the weekend? So I haven't actually went live on Kick yet. I've not went live on Kick yet, but I'm gonna start doing Kick live streams, and it's gonna be more focused on just all around lifestyle. So it's genuinely just gonna be like me walking around, talking about mindset, business. I'll talk about some trading stuff. I'll talk about the markets. I'll talk about, my lifestyle. I'll talk about habits, all that good stuff. Just bettering your life, but also just fun, like entertaining, some fun stuff. Because when I was a trader, when I was first starting to trade, when I was a trader in the very beginning stages of my journey, it helped me so much to see people actually living the life, to see how they live their life, to see what's possible, to really get to know them as people, to see what their habits are, to see how they think, to see how they look at risk, to see how they network, all that good stuff really, really helped me because I was like, oh, this shit's really possible. So I'm going to try to do the same thing on Kick. And I'll also just focus on like answering questions. So if you have any questions about mindset, about things, personal situations that y'all want advice on, I'll do that. I'll give advice on that. Had a dream last night. I was up 11,000 on Dell. Fuck yeah, brother. That's a nice little dream. After retest, you confirm with two candles. So I don't actually use the two candle confirmation when I'm scalping. So there's a video in the premium courses, which if you haven't watched already, I highly recommend it. It's called The Blueprint to Becoming a Profitable Trader. It goes over my whole strategy on like when I use two candle, when I don't use two candle. And on scalping, I don't use two candle as much. Very rarely actually on scalping. Quote of the day. Quote of the day is, ooh, I got one. Y'all are going to like this. Everybody will laugh at you. Nobody will believe in you until you make it. And then they'll ask you how you did it and how you can help them do it. Right? So everybody will laugh at you until you make it. Or you're crazy until you do it. It's true. It's so fucking true. I mean, I remember when I was first starting, everybody would make fun of me. People would be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And now people reach out, ask me for advice. But you're crazy until it works. You're crazy until it works, and people are going to tell you that you're not going to make it, and they're going to be right. They're going to be right in a month. They're going to be right in 6 months. They're going to be right in a year. They're going to be right in 2 years. But eventually, they will be wrong. Right? So the scary part about people not believing in you is, for the time being, they're usually right. Because when you're starting off in your journey and people say, hey, your business is not going to work, your business is not working, your business is probably not working when you're first starting. But eventually, over a long period of time, they're going to be wrong and you are going to be right. And it's going to feel damn good to look back and say everybody doubted me and now they can't say shit. Like the one thing that's so nice about trading and about, when did I just get this notification? I don't know. The one thing that's so nice about trading, about not even trading, but just being in a position in life where you have freedom, where you have a level of I can do what I want, is that people can't tell you stuff. Like they just can't, right? Like people might like me, some people don't like me, but nobody can tell me shit, and people know that, right? Like obviously, if like Jeff Bezos pulls up and he's like, "Hey, brother, like cute little yacht," you know what I'm saying? Like people, there's always levels to this game, but especially like when you're young and you make it, nobody can tell you shit. You can do what you want, you can operate how you want, and it's just a very freeing thing to have that, because so often, especially if people didn't believe in you in your journey, you'll be used to people just giving you shit, giving you shit, giving you shit. And it's nice when people no longer give you shit. And I don't really have like a revenge thing at all with it. I'm not like, oh, I want to get back at these people. I'm just like, it's more of a quiet thing of like the energy that I now have, the energy that now circles my life, that's now part of me, is something that people just cannot fight. They can't doubt it. They see it. But let's see if we do get a retest here and then keep moving down. And for this play to continue valid, we have to stay below this. So we can't like close in here or up here. This has to be a quick one touch thing, move down. So we'll see if that plays out. We do have a little bit low volume right now, which isn't the end of the world, but I would like to see this downtrend continue. Hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, here's the thing. Here's another thing with trading is I don't talk about this much, but when I had money to trading, I was doing like other side hustles too. I was flipping shoes. I used to like sell fidget spinners I used to go to like schools, go to people that hung out in areas where I knew they were had a lot of money. I would sell fidget spinners and just mark up the price. Like I would always be an entrepreneur. I'd always be an entrepreneur. I'd always be trying to make money. So I would be reselling shoes. I make decent money reselling shoes. I probably made like, I don't know, 2 grand selling shoes, 2, 3 grand, which at the time was a good amount of money, especially when I had my job. So I had that money. I had money from just selling like candy. I would sell all kinds of stuff. I would have little businesses. I had like a little business where I would buy stuff on Amazon and resell it. Right. So always get cash flow, because you don't want to be purely reliant on trading for your income until you're making a lot of money trading. And even then, I would recommend have other investments. Like if you're making a lot of money trading, I would recommend putting it in real estate or wherever you're comfortable with, having another business, whatever you're doing. Right. So we are retesting. So let's see right here, because if we just break through, come up here, this is not valid. But if we retest right here, and if we stay below this area here, we could move down and the setup could be valid. So that would look something like this if it does play out. So let's watch right here. Let's also check out the VIX, see what the VIX is doing. The VIX is volatility index. Interesting. So yeah, for the setup to play out, we would need VIX to move up to show us that we are in a bearish movement. So VIX is moving down so far, so that's showing us that we are in a bullish movement, which is not what we're looking for right here with this setup. But as always, just be patient, understand. So yeah, this could be a nice break and retest right here. Could be a nice break and retest. See if VIX is moving up a little bit. So that's what retest means, by the way. This is a level. We broke through it. We retested it. and then ideally we're going to move back down and target this level. Interesting price action, a little bit of volume, not a ton of volume. I would say relatively low volume at the moment. See what our good friend Vix is doing. Vix is not doing too much at all right now. Just to think about when this setup would no longer be valid, I would say 581 to 575. I would say if we're over 570, or I'm sorry, 5,000. I'm just looking at the numbers in the hundreds place. 5,578. 50, I'm like no longer valid. So if we stay below that, we should be good. If we come above that, especially on this candle or the next candle, I'm like no longer valid, no longer interesting to me. So remember, I am scalping, so I'm only looking for 5 to 10 points. Can you explain what VIX has to do with it? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Very important, and I'm going to do that in like 2 minutes, but I will absolutely give you a walkthrough of how to use it and why it's important. So there's your break and retest. There's your break and retest, already up a little bit. It really is fascinating, how accurate things are when you look at the New York Open. But yeah, and in one moment I'll explain the VIX. I'm just looking at this, just because this is active, active. See what we're doing right now, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna look at VIX. I'm gonna explain to you all VIX, how to use it, and why it's important. Gonna see if we're gonna continue selling off here, which it looks like we are. Yep. Out for $250, out for $200, out for $200. That's what we fucking do, everybody. That's what we fucking do. So we do beautiful trade. Bam, pass my eval. Fuck yes. I'm telling you, that's what we do here. That's what we do here. If you're not on live, you're missing out. YouTube, you're missing out because we're making money. Out for $900. Fuck yes, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do. You know what I'm gonna do one day? I'm gonna get a fucking like, on those planes when they get the pilot saying stuff. I'm gonna pay the pilot to be, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do, because it's true. That's what we do, and that's your setup. That's 5 points right there. Hit 2.5. That's 5 points. That's the trade I'm taking. That's what I like. I'm not telling anybody to do things. Y'all can do what you need to do. But out for $625, that's what we do. Out for 300 more, out for 900. That's what we fucking do. Out for $500, out for $2,000, out for $450. This is what we do, everyone. This is what we do. This is what we do. Live in real time. You saw me say it before it happened. I literally, y'all were on it, right? I drew the exact line of where I'm looking for entries, and then the exact move I'm expecting, break, retest. We did it because this is how the market actually works. We're not using support resistance. We're using actual orders. We're using actual data, tools. Out for $200. Fuck yeah. Out for 225. Bam. That is what we do, everybody. The market is closed. How y'all trade? The market is not closed, my friend. We are trading futures. We are trading futures. The market is alive and well. The stock market is closed, but we are trading futures. I'm a private pilot. Bro, absolutely, brother. Hell yeah, man. Come down to Florida. We'll do a little Florida Bahamas trip. You're a private pilot? I love that, man. Absolutely. Only if you get on the pilot speaker and go, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do. So I'm gonna say one time. So y'all just saw it. Literally, me called out in live stream. You saw the profits. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do. That's what we fucking do. Out for $250. Bam. I gotta start tracking the collective profit of all of our members during the live streams. I really do. Probably at least 5, 10K right now. Probably more. Because some people don't say it. Out for $500. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's the setup. That's the setup I'm looking at. You could try to fucking play it longer. That's the setup I'm looking at. Right? So that's how we do it. Out for $150. Back in with $600 profit. It's too fucking easy. It's too fucking easy. Trading does not have to be hard, everybody. Find your setups. Identify your setups. Make money. What a way to start the day, isn't it? Is it stupid to stay in longer? I wouldn't say it's stupid. I would say that we could still continue down. I would say I would personally be looking at taking partial profits just to protect yourself or doing some sort of stops to break even kind of thing here. But I wouldn't say it's completely stupid because I do think we still could move down a little bit if this continues because this was likely a lower high. So then we still are going to make a lower low if that's the case. And I don't know if we have enough momentum to bounce here. So I wouldn't say it's stupid, but I would say to take some partials, in my opinion. Fuck yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we do. So we do. All right, so I'm going to cut the YouTube video right here. Y'all know how we do it.